Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well out there. I would hope that you're loving life a little bit more. I would imagine that you're enjoying watching the Miami Heat make some moves. We'll keep you updated on everything going on Heat-wise, and we'll find out if the news becomes final and official. You know, the news is out already that Iguodala has been shipped to Miami. Hell, he talked about it. We'll share the sound bites for you, all that good stuff. Now we're trying to find out, is it what, the players that we were kind of talking about during that Clippers game last night? And then obviously the other piece that a lot of people are talking about, which is Danilo Gallinari, is the guy that a lot of people are saying is the next guy that is coming here to Miami. So we'll keep you updated on all the NBA news that breaks. Remember, the trading deadline is right at 3 o'clock when we get off the air. Now, there are times when there are deals that go into the next hour in that 3 o'clock hour because they're trying to, the trade came in on time, but the NBA has to approve the trade in the process. So those kind of things sometimes happen here. So I'm keeping up with the NBA Twitter and finding out what is what and who is going where, all those kind of things here on the program. So we'll have some fun with that. Look, here are my thoughts on all of this. And you weren't doing anything with James Johnson. You weren't doing anything with Dion Waiters. I mean, he's basically been a cancer for you all season long. Justice Winslow, man, I'm a fan of Justice. I'm one of the guys that defends Justice Winslow. But the one thing that I never defend on anybody is injuries. And it gets to a point where you're unreliable. Okay, and I'm consistent as hell about this. With Tua, a lot of you needed the hip injury to get off the bandwagon. I got off on the injury before that one. I think it was the knee sprain or whatever it was. And I said, I'm done. This guy's always injured. I mean, yesterday, I'm watching basketball. Zion Williamson now has a toe injury. I'm like, you're big, you're strong, and you're not durable. I mean, this is what we all, well, not all, some of us feared with Zion. And this is why when, I was going after a rookie keeper, I went after John Morant, not Zion. That's the guy I wanted. I wanted John Morant. I didn't want Zion. In fact, I said in the offseason, John Morant will become the better player when it's all said and done. Okay? So we'll see. I mean, Zion can be a hell of a player, but you got to stay healthy to become a hell of a player. And Justice Winslow was never going to become a hell of a player because he can't score. He'll never become a great shooter, okay? You're hoping he can become a serviceable shooter at times. He can't finish around the rim. But worse than anything else, he can't be counted on. He's unreliable. He has missed most of the season this year with a couple of injuries, and you just can't have that. The guy's missed a boatload of games. Look, and this becomes a good trade for both teams in a way, because Miami gets the guy short-term that can help you in so many ways and experience and everything else, and then they get a young player to go with their young core. Now he's got to stay healthy, okay? If he doesn't stay healthy, it's not the worst trade in the world because it's not like you're cap-strapped. It's not like Iguodala was playing for you. It's the same thing as the Heat. The Heat are a really good team without Winslow, James Johnson, and Dion Waiters. So if you're getting rid of that and whatever, a second rounder or something, then go for it. Like I told you yesterday, if you're going to make these moves, as long as you're not giving up the future, I don't care. I'm fine. I'd rather have Andre Iguodala on this team because he's got experience. Now, I know he's 36, so that's a pain in the ass to know that how old he is at this point. But in this case, he doesn't have to play a full season, which is good. If that extension kicks in next year, and we'll talk about that in a minute, then you've got a whole different ball game. Okay, now you got to really worry about the age. But this is a guy that will be controlled minutes-wise. He's probably going to play in the neighborhood of 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. No more than that. He's going to be a reserve, another guy that's a key reserve, and then a key defender on the perimeter. All these kind of things that when you need certain stops, he will be there. Lord knows you needed some help on the perimeter last night, although the Clippers were, I mean, what was it, 44%? What was it? Yeah, 44% from three-point. I mean, they were just unstoppable yesterday. And the Larry Shamet kid was just all over, man. That was nuts. But I love this move. I think this is a fantastic move by the Heat. And you start to add the intelligence behind the move. Because according to Woj, this deal has a team option. So this allows Miami to stay fluid for 2021. That's been their plan, not next year, but the following season, not this coming off season, the next off season, 2021, they want to have their cap space to try to go after another star. Correct? So if you're able to do that, then that, you're able to try to better yourself for the now while keeping your flexibility to the future. And that's all we ask. I mean, that's more than enough. Whereas we saw what happened the last couple of years when you made terrible decisions and you backed yourself into a corner where you had no flexibility. I mean, and remember, we all thought you would gain some flexibility as we got towards the back end of these bad contracts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the back end of these contracts. The last half of this year and one more year left for James Johnson and for Dion Waiters. And if you're able to get rid of those salaries, then, I mean, come on. This is what it's all about. This is what you need to do. Look, you still may not be a championship team because you may not be better than the Lakers and the Clippers because those teams are pretty damn good, especially the Clippers, which I think are the deepest team in the NBA. But that you can't look at it that way. What you are is a real menace in the East. You have once you add Gallinari and you add a shooter like that to this team, you are locked in to be a top 4 team. Now the question is, can you do enough to maybe even get past the Bucks to get into the finals, at least? That would be the ultimate. But if you get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks, that would be an incredible season, a fantastic season, a really successful season. And that's all we can ask for as fans. I mean, I started the season thinking 7 or 8 seed, getting bounced in the first round, and now you have moved to the point and you've developed players to a point that maybe you've got a slim shot at getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And hell, really tiny chance, because Milwaukee's really good and the Freak is the Freak, but a tiny chance to even advance to the NBA Finals. Anything can happen at that point. Something happens to the Freak, he twists an ankle, he's not as healthy, and, you go in there and you got a way of stealing the series, then you do it. But you have to love what the Miami Heat are doing because they're doing what any fan wants them to do. Do whatever it takes to win. And they're doing it in an intelligent fashion and keeping everything in check. And I think it's awesome.